What's good? Good morning. Good morning. It's almost 11:30. Another 30 minutes and I would have been outside of what I guarantee y'all. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., Saturdays and Sundays in the morning. I definitely would have got here a little bit earlier, but I had a long day and a long night yesterday. Shout out to everybody that's on my Instagram. We're gonna get into Jay-Z and Nas. You see them in the thumbnail, right? I just posted some Nas related videos on my IG. So if you follow me, check those out. You can even watch them while we're here live. I'm gonna bleed some of that into my Jay-Z and Nas topic. What else do we got going on? Look at the title, y'all. Y'all see K Shine returns, but is it time to call a lawyer? Here's what we're gonna do with the K Shine topic, y'all. We're gonna pull up the card. We're gonna talk a little bit about the card. We're gonna talk about promotion. We're gonna talk about the rollout. We're gonna talk about a RBE and K Shine story that I don't think has ever been publicly stated by myself or Shine. So I want to tell y'all a little story. Then I'm going to talk about the legal side of things, like why I asked this question: is it time to call a lawyer? All right. So we'll get into that. What else we got going on? You see a verb in the thumbnail as well. I just posted like 5 seconds ago 2 pictures on my Twitter. I'll pull those up. I got a couple things to say about the a verb days of rain, so to speak. And I think I'm going to leave those as pretty much the three primary topics for today's stream. I'm behind the curve. I'm running late. I ain't gonna lie. I was late to the stream. I'm late moving around this morning. I feel behind on the day, but I had an incredible Saturday, so I really can't complain, y'all. All right, before we get into these topics, man, how's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend going so far? How's everybody's Sunday going? Everybody all right? If I come over to chat and I take a look at what's going on in here, shout out to Jay. She's in the building. Our mod and our member. Philly, I see you a lot, man. I gotta get you a membership. Shout out to Philly Trees in the building. Who else is in here? Slow Bucks TV. Is that the real Slow Bucks? Either way, shout out to the chat, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I see our member Sniper in the building. HL HLS and G is in the building. Our member, what's good, homie? Good to see you. Chins TV is another person. I'm gonna have to find you a membership too, man. I see you in here a lot, man. Green Gang is taking over this channel. It really is. KX is here. Okay, okay. Salute y'all. Brett is in the building. Sniper's in the building. Okay, okay. It's good to see y'all, man. It's good to see y'all. Bearded Brick is here. Happy Sunday. Happy weekend. All right. Should we start walking? I'm tired. Can y'all tell? That's the thing about doing it live, man. You know what I'm saying? I could be scripted. I could pre-record and upload. Yo, can you tell I'm a little tired? A little tired, man. But we 7 days a week. So I had to get my ass up out of bed and figure this shit out and say, all right, let's get to work. Jack is here, our member. Shout out to Ty, one of our members. Good morning, chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. Let's start walking. So K-Shine, I want to start with battle rap. All right. I'm going to start with that battle rap, then I'm going to get into Jay-Z and Nas, and I'm going to close with battle rap. All right. So 2 out of 3 of the top is battle rap today. K-Shine. Backdrop is K-Shine announced his return to battle rap with Shoddy Horror and that Power Network. Feels about a year ago or something like that, right? I don't want to mess up the time period. And there was a lot of controversy around that announcement. Some of the controversy was the opponent. Some of the controversy was the location. Some of the controversy was the price. Some of the controversy was the date. I think it was like a New Year's Eve or something like that. I think I said price already. I don't even remember seeing the other battles that rolled out. I remember there was also controversy about possible Shine and Briz and that not happening. Shine spoke about that, so forth and so on. What happens behind the scenes, only Shine and the Power Network know everything. Okay. We have gotten a bunch of Shine interviews during that period of things. And then after that, I think there was a gap of information that the public may have been looking for. And what happens is when the public doesn't have a lot of transparency or a lot of the information that they're looking for, they start to put together their own conclusions. Okay. And I'm going to pull up a bunch of videos from the reaction now, fast forward with this new announcement. So let's talk about that for a second. Um, and if I see if I could find a card real quick, I'm not even gonna pull up on the screen. Okay. This is the rebirth of a culture, and it is August 2nd on a Saturday. And it's got Kayshawn versus Shadi Horror. It's got Reed Dollars versus Sharon. It's got Big T versus Sirius Jones. It's got Nick C versus JC. Okay, so solid card. The heaviest piece will always be Kayshawn's return. We've been waiting to see Kayshawn come back to battle rap for a long time right now. Shadi Horror, I was one person that did a video when the announcement first dropped the first time around. I don't know why it got kind of those mixed reviews. Well, I do know why, but I kind of attribute that to the power of the K-Shine return expectation because I've been there before. And this isn't even a shot. I'm just speaking live of facts and history within battle rap. When we announced Murder Mook's return after being away for like 4+ years, when they saw the opponent was a Verb, RBE got attacked, right? So Shadi Horror is a Hall of Fame, but Shadi Horror is a legend. Shadi Horror is in the battle with Arsenal that I believe from the States Battle List or including States Battle List is the highest viewed battle on YouTube. It's almost like 15 million views. I think Shadi Horror is one of our greats, but maybe the people just didn't want that matchup at that time. So I get it. But that's just the weight of Kayshawn's return. Okay. So I still like the matchup. Nobody is going crazy over it, but I personally still like the matchup. Reed Dollars versus Sharon. Um, very, very random. Reed being a street battler, that type of, delivery. Sharon freestyle. He's a jack of all trades sometimes up there. Very hard to beat. Big T. I haven't seen Big T around too much recently. I know the coach has been down on Big T in recent years. Versus Sirius Jones. Sirius Jones actually has been pretty consistent over the last couple years. Got Sirius Jones in the middle of the fly. I don't know why. It should be K Shot and Shadi Hart in the middle of the fly. But I'm not going to do the fly thing. Enough people are going at the fly. Nick C, I don't know who Nick C is. I assume that's somebody that might be with K Shine, maybe a zip him up guy, something like that, versus JC, though. So that's JC maybe giving somebody a shot. So 4 battles, one of which feels like an opener, even though JC is there. The Big T one, the Reed and Sharon, very, very random. And then you got the K-Shine and Shadi Horror, which people already was like in between about. So I think that's one issue, right? That's one thing that K-Shine could have done to sweep under the rug all of the backlash or the controversy or the ups and downs of the initial rollout with the Power Network. If you come back with a haymaker, everybody's memory fades in 5 seconds, right? You can rob a bank a million fucking times, and the million you do something good, the fans forget that you was a thief. Like I'm not talking about K-Shine. I'm just talking about like leaks and shit, allegedly. That's how it is. And so definitely had an opportunity to sneak attack the culture and just say, after all of that, boom, here you go. And I think the card overall, I'm just keeping it 1,000. I'll fuck with Shine, but I'm keeping it 1,000. I think the card overall misses that mark from an impact standpoint. Doesn't mean that these battles won't turn out to be good battles. I'm going to support this card. I'm going to tune in. Okay. We see powered by Rocket Fuel, Zip 'em Up, Rap Grid, and Pay Per View. So glad to see that Rap Grid is involved. That means the back end of the stream will be sturdy. That means when you pay for this stream, we don't expect it to be dropping and going down and all that. I don't know who's on the front end. You might need to call Avocado because that's the pairing right there. That is very, very high probability to have success. Front end production, directing, and running your stream in the building, Avocado. Back end pay per view provider, Rap Grid. It's a 1-2 punch. They have the longest running 1-2 punch combination of successful events by the numbers in battle rap. So K Shine, hopefully go get Ruin Your Day. Avocado is very, very workable. Like he's a guy, he's like just so entrenched. He wants to work with everybody. He wants to put everybody in the best position to win. Please call that man if you haven't. That's gonna lead me into a quick subtopic. K Shine, I hope that when it comes to being in the forefront of this situation, I know that you've been in battle rap forever, but being a league owner and being a battle rapper is night and day. And sometimes people learn the hard way. Make phone calls, K Shine. Um, and I'm not saying that K Shine is a over prideful person. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes people have so much, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Call other battle rappers. Get advice. Who did you use for your camera crew? How much did Avocado charge you? Um, how did you go about your audio? What did you do with this? How'd you do that? Calico's out there, Hitman's out there, Geechee's out there, John is out there. Other battlers, aside from even other league, in case I know he could call me, you know what I'm saying? But like get advice because the controversy, here's a good thing for Sean. The controversy of this card will put you in a position where you have a last and final attempt to do the told you so moment, right? Because right now they're against you. But if you deliver a successful, impactful event, and I think it'd also be good to possibly later on throw a fifth battle on there, a dope matchup that makes everybody say, okay, wait, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you watch the feedback, and if the feedback of the card is people are down on it, you see other leagues do it too. They don't just always add a battle because it was a late promotion. Like for example, Real Sick and Disaster, right? Y'all think that was added because they just forgot to announce it during the whole rollout, and then finally with this gap of promotion, we decided to announce Disaster and Real Sick. No, there was other reasons tactically to say we need to add another one, right? And so I think Sean should look into that. Like this is why leagues do that. They watch the temperature and they say, okay, we might need a little bit more. All right. Of course, financing and budget is part of it, but that's part of the game. That's part of being out there and being a face figure and being a league owner. Speaking of being a spokesperson and a league owner in the face front, and before I get into the Kayshawn story, um, Kayshawn, you gotta listen to some of the bloggers. I know bloggers will attack at times, and sometimes they seem very controversial and very negative, right? Sometimes it comes off like that, right? But you gotta take some of their advice because they're also steering a bunch of the fans that will purchase your pay-per-view, right? You have to give the culture more transparency. Now, even if there was reasons why you were a little bit more quiet around what people were looking for information about with the Power Network, now that it says zip them up on the fly. Now it looks like this is you doing it and you being a little bit more the front. Whether it's part of how you feel like you've always interacted with the culture or not, you have to do it now. You have to go get on 15 Minutes of Fame. Hip hop is real. Any platforms that you fuck with, streams, whatever, you have to get out there. You have to talk. You have to turn the tide. You have to explain. And all of that will actually turn into promotion. Even if you get up there and you do an interview and you let Uncle Rod ask you about, okay, so last year, explain more about the Power Network, even though the Power Network is gone, right? That turns into still promotion because the first thing you see at the beginning of that video is the flyer for what is it, August 13th. Okay, this is like real game and gems of being transparent, talking. It turns into promotion. URL is notorious for leveraging controversy for promotion. The last two card rollouts that they have, like their controversy with like Hitman was like at the forefront of it. It's part of it. Leagues using controversy is common. Just look at I've done it, they've done it, this person's done it, those people have done it. And you don't even have to be controversial. It's about being the spokesperson and somebody being in front of this league and connecting with the fans. If it wasn't time then, it's time now. And you have a tide to turn. Like, once again, I'm speaking from experience of knowing what it's like to have a main event that people acted like they hated and having to now connect with the fans, talk, plead, explain, give logical reasons as to why. I did that with Cassidy and Hitman to a degree. Um, I did that with Verb and Mook. I did that with countless other main events and matches. Vodafly always gives stories of when I announced Jay Mills. I think maybe his second battle, maybe Jay Mills versus Enes, and he tore him down. I got on the phone with Vodafly and I pleaded my case to him. I said, give him a chance. Give him a chance. He's getting better and all that. You know, did a lot of hand holding behind the scenes for Jay Mills. Bloggers will tell you. But I get on the front lines and you got to get out there. And you are the person that has to make this card work, especially when you see what the reaction is. The muscle up moment is not seeing the reaction and retracting into quiet quiet times or the shadows. It's saying, okay, I'm stepping on the front line. I'm taking all the bullets, but I got a vest on. Let's fight. And then you push your card forward and you will maximize your success. If you don't do that, you will help yourself have lesser of a. And I got one more gem. I see you. That little bald one's a beast. Thank you for the super. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna come your direction. I'm gonna give you one more gem about almost all of your peers. Shine. All of your peers. This is coming from somebody that's worked with them for 13, 14 years. I'm talking about even before RBE with Battle Rap Media and stuff. All of your peers have pride and ego. Sometimes ego to a detriment, and sometimes ego where it helps them. They all have ego. It's the biggest battle rappers in the world. I don't care if you're Hitman, Murder Mook, Loaded Lux, Cassidy. None of them want to be in the mix of a negative promo run. None of them. None of them. I don't care how confident somebody acts like they are. If they look around and it's not their card and it's not their responsibility and they the co-main event or they the undercard or whatever, and they see that the response is like, kill it, this, that, look at the fly and all this type of stuff, they're going to fall back. They ain't going to promote. They ain't going to have the confidence neither. The leader sets it all off, right? And then what they're going to do is they're going to show up, they're going to rap, and they're going to put their hand out for the back end. That's it. And then even that has to be successful, or else you're going into your own pocket and your event is in the red. So this also bleeds into the battle rappers on the card. I've watched it too many times. It's happened to me too many times. You have to go move now. You got to move, right? Just some advice there. All right. Before I get into this K-Shine story, I'm going to pull up some footage and I'm going to jump to this super real quick. Shout out to that little bald one's a beast. Thank you for one of our members and mods. Thank you for the $20 super homie says, I need to send you something, not for promo, just because I want to have it. I want you to have it and know my story. How do I get that to you? Thank you. I appreciate that, homie. DM me on IG. I have a PO box that I normally hand out to people that want to send me their merch, send me stuff or whatever. So shoot me a DM on IG, homie, and let me know that it's you. Appreciate you 100%. Okay. The reaction from the culture. So I pulled these videos up this morning just to make sure I got a pulse. I don't want to be the one that's on camera looking like, damn, ARP ain't like, I'm just being real and I'm seeing what the reaction is. I'm not just making any of this stuff up, right? So let's pull up Piper Boy, right? Let's check his reaction. These are all some of our biggest bloggers and some of our most notable analysts and critics in the culture. All right. So let's take a look at Piper Boy.
K-Shine versus Hottie Horror. Hottie Horror. Who is that? Who is Hottie Horror, Rap Grid? Who is this? Hottie Horror versus K-Shine. Is that a typo? Let me get closer here. Let's see what's going on. I think we got some typos going on. Everybody's paying attention to Diddy trials and not paying attention to how they spell. K-Shine versus Hottie Horror is going down. Shotty Horror is going down. You know what I mean? They are making this battle happen. This is going down August 2nd. You know what I mean? K-Shine versus Shotty Horror. I see him in the background. Shout out to Shotty Horror. K-Shine and Shotty Horror led their fans.
Okay, so the piece that I'll reference from Piper Boy's reaction is promotion related, right? Fans are very, very visual. I give the avocados, the who else? The Twizzes, and there's a bunch of other people. Some of these people make trailers that is so eye candy. It's just the human nature reaction to them is just like, oh, take my money. Same thing with flyers, right? You can have a great card, and sometimes even a flyer brings down the card. So the typo stuff, okay, misspelling on the name, Shotty Horror, mistake. The paper spelled Paper, view. Yeah, it doesn't look good, you know. And so a bunch of people should have caught that before it went out. All flyers come to me for review before they go out. Rap Grid should have caught this as well. Whoever's hands this is going through, people, there should have been multiple layers that should have caught this type of stuff, right? But even when I say call avocado because you already got rap grid and make sure your footage and everything looks pristine and your pay-per-view is running well and smooth, avocado does flyers too. You know, avocado will cut you flyers that'll match your trailer. Um, so that's one thing I want to say from experience. You don't have to stay with the same flyer. And I take shots at myself a lot just to show y'all how 1000 I'm keeping it. The first flyer for Max Out 1, Cassidy versus Hitman Holla, that went out was trash. It was horrible. Some of y'all know the story. I broke down the story when I was responding to Sirius Jones when me and him was having our back and forth. I broke down the story and I showed you guys all the receipts. First flyer was trash. Cassidy didn't post it because it was trash and it had like an old picture of him. He went to his flyer guy, got his own flyer, posted, and I said, "Oh shit." Put me in touch with your flyer guy. I'm switching the whole card to those flyers because those shits is crazy. And I just paid for a set of flyers from him. And I trashed the one that we made. You could even remake a flyer if you want. Like if Sean hasn't even posted the flyer yet, you can come out and say, now it's really time. Misstep, y'all. Now we really here. And even a flyer changes the perception of the rollout, right? So you can catch all that type of stuff, and it's based on who you work with. But let's see some other reactions. Let me go to another big voice in the culture.
Y'all want the fan support. Y'all want people to buy in. Y'all want people to have some vested interest in what you got going on. Y'all got to give people a product that's viable. This flyer is not it. Who made this flyer? Y'all could have made this joint on a phone app, on Microsoft Paint. You could have paid somebody $40 or $50 to make a better flyer than this. This flyer don't even scream the rebirth or the return of battle rap. This scream, who the hell made this?
Okay. Let's get a couple more reactions. I brought these up this morning, I promise.
We have to talk about the flyer itself, right? So I see August 2nd. That's a cool date. Pretty close, right? So this is a late announcement.
That's dope.
Something I noticed right off rip, I believe they fixed it on some of the newer flyers. I see K-Shine.
Oh, wait, now that I do think about it, it is right around the corner. Yeah, so that definitely means you got a time crunch. So it's dope to promote close to the event. So you stay at the forefront of the fans' minds instead of losing their attention span because battle rap has so much things going on. Next thing you know, two people are arguing tomorrow and then they forget about yesterday's announcement. That's the chaos that everybody's in. The timing and the rollout all matters, right? So that's good. But the con there is there's a lot of promotion and rollout that you need to do within pretty much a month, right? So you got to work. This is about to be a full-time job, Sean. Okay.
Shine versus Hottie Hora. Hottie Hora. So we've left the S somewhere else. The S is back in the UK. Hottie Hora is coming to the US. So we have the headliner spelled wrong to begin with. Secondly, and this is everyone's favorite that I've seen so far. In the bottom right, you see Rap Grid. And Rap Grid is known for pay-per-view, but they're going into a whole new lane here, a new experience called pay-per-view. Pay-per-view, you know?
Yeah, all of this can be corrected with a new flyer, I'm telling you. Let's keep the reactions going.
All right, let's just get right into it. The flyer is disgusting. I mean, presentation is everything. I done took down some bad bitch with some whack booty. You know what I'm saying? Because from the outside, it was like, damn, her shit looking right. And then when you get with her, it's like it's been since 1998 that thing been tight. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's presentation. I'll give you an example. There were so many battlers better than me in my era. When I'm coming up, I wasn't the most this, most that, most nothing. But I presented myself in a way where I spoke proper to league owners. I dressed proper. I came through with my new whip. I'm not saying I'm driving Benzes and shit like that, but at the time, everybody's hopping off the train or however the thing. And it's no offense, it's just the truth. We was riding in my cars to the events.
Yeah, he's definitely not driving in Mercedes and all that. Like, I've seen all of Jim's cars. Um, but the president, he's right. Like when Jim's battles Averb, he looks like more money than Averb. He's there with dope jacket. He's pointing out the hole in Averb's jacket when Averb's performing. He's got the Gucci hat on. That probably costs more than Averb's whole outfit, you know. And Jim's presentation and his image and his charisma, it pushed forward and a lot of the lacking of artistic ability that people were getting at him for early in his career. And all that is similar to presentation, even to your promotion of like a flyer, right? So great points here. Let's take a look at another one. And the point that I'm really proving right here is that this is what needs to be undone. You can't just walk forward like, it is what it is. You have to undo a lot of this. And this is the position that league owners be in. This is the fight.
Shout out to the whole angry fan movement, man. What's going on with y'all, man? Shout out to K Shine, man. This is crazy, Shine. You need to fix whatever you got going on with URL. Like, seriously, all jokes aside, you need to fix things. You're running around doing anything to try to battle now. It's getting ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Because we're watching this. Now, I don't know what happened to Power Network, but now the Shotty Horror and K Shine battle is going to be happening. Let me pull the card up for you guys. Against all odds, rebirth of a culture. All right. It's going down Saturday, August 2nd. We got K Shine versus Shotty Horror. We got Reed Dollars versus Jerome. We got.
Be clear, people. In the world of battle rap, all of this is still promotion. Even the negative stuff, even the negative reactions. Be clear. Let's do one more. Then I'm going to get into a story. Then I'm going to answer the title or speak to the title.
The nigga spelled Shotty Horror name wrong. It said Hottie Horror. Hottie Horror. Like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Then you come down here, pay-per-view, $40 paper, not PPV, but pay-per-view. Like, I gotta be getting catfish. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing I know. I said, ain't no way. Nigga sending me this flyer. I said, ain't no way this is the flyer right here, because all I know is K Shine told me there's money in battle rap. K Shine.
I'm real ball. I'm getting more and more bothered. So you got to blame whoever the leaders are, right? If this is a URL flyer, they're gonna blame Smack Chico Beast. If it's an RBE, you're gonna blame ARP. If it's a King of the Dot, you're gonna blame Organic. If it's you know what I'm saying, so forth and so on. So if K Shine is the front runner and owner of this situation, yes, he gets the blame. We're gonna keep it 1,000. But I'm still getting more and more frustrated looking at this, like, because you got all these bloggers, like, that's one of the biggest pieces that they're using to cast shadow. Well, I know the card is a little underwhelming to people, like the matches, but they're casting a lot of shadow. How the fuck didn't nobody cast? Like Rap Grid, the person that made the flyer, the owner, Sean, the other people that's on the fly. Even the battlers that posted it, like Sharon posted it, right? Did he post the corrected one? I forget. Like, but how it goes through a bunch of hands? Nobody caught that. It'd be one thing if it's like an up and comer's name. You know, my very first event ever, I misspelled Oops's name in the very first trailer that we dropped. I left off one of the O's and I made the trailer. A nigga texted me and said, "There's 3 O's in my name." I said, okay. I'm keeping it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? He was the first battle on the very first card that RBE ever did. He's at the bottom of the flyer, like battle number 9, you know, battle number 8 or some shit. And I fucked up his name, you know, up and coming guy. Oops, left off an O. And I've had other misspellings before, but this is the main event. Who typed and looked at who? I'm not even supposed to be doing this right now because one of the points I was making was the people's responses, but I'm here live and I'm getting frustrated and I wasn't supposed to be doing this. So let me leave it alone. I'm just getting frustrated at, like, where's the QA, like quality assurance, like around him. All right. Story than lawyer. Yeah. All right. Let me do a story. This story is going to be allegedly because when you have multiple parties involved, you hold I hold all my own facts and receipts. You guys know that about me by now. I hold a lot of other people's facts and receipts too. But there's also certain little gray areas sometimes that maybe I don't have in my possession or I didn't have conversations about. So if there's little gray areas in some of these overall situations, just in case, I'll say allegedly. All right, allegedly. Once upon a time, this guy named ARP is putting together Max Out 2. Okay. I told y'all before, three or four things that I always lock down as a league owner as I'm starting my event is the date, and the date being tied also into full agreement with the pay-per-view, as well as my production crew. Right. So some of the earliest people that I'm talking to is Rap Grid. Hey, I want to do September 18th. How do you feel about that? You have a whole staff that needs to also work with me on September 18th, right? You have people running the back end stream, bringing it up, starting the VOD, all that, updating the website, Rap Grid, responding to fans there, making sure the back end pay per view is running well. It's staffed, especially if it's a big main event. They got like 4 or 5 people working on that weekend with me or with the league, right? So line that up. Rap Grid come back, give me a day or two. Let me speak with the staff, make sure I can line up this date, put it on calendar for everybody. They come back to me, they say yes. I said, cool. I need my production crew on the same date as well. Hey Avo, September 18th. All right, ARP, let me check my calendar. Boom, 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 boom. I'm clear, not booked anywhere else. Done. Cool. Got my date. Sometimes, not all the times, because I know I have a little bit more flexibility here, but sometimes I even put the venue in that top 3 as well. Okay. But pretty much that's the top 2 or the top 3. The 4th will always be my main event. All right. Nobody knows nothing. People don't know that we outside yet. The fans don't know nothing. I go to my main event. Yo, Hitman and Cal, what we doing? All right. I get them situated. I get them locked in. So now I got the biggest pieces on the chessboard covered. I got my queen, my king, my rook, my rooks. We ready to go. Right. As I got into the development of Max Out 2, the co-main event I looked at as something that was very, very important because the energy of Hitman, he's always going to draw. He's always going to have big pay-per-view numbers. He's always going to have fans in the building. People's always going to click play, regardless of whether they say, oh, he's up or he's down, right? But from a promotional and a marketing standpoint, I saw that coming out of the Cassidy battle, there was a lot of like people were like playing with Hitman a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And some of it stems to the classic interview that Hitman and I did, where he says, I'm going to make sure after this battle, Cassidy never gets booked again. And I even let you guys behind the curtain. I told you guys years later, I said, was so bugged out about the fans using that later on to like kill Hitman about, because Cassidy actually had his best showing to date versus Hitman, is that wasn't live with me and Hitman. That was totally trumped up for promotion. Like he said that in a take like 3 different times. I was like, yo, we need a haymaker to close this interview out. And he said, I'm gonna make sure Cassidy never get booked again. I was like, no, say it again. Say it with more emphasis. I'm gonna make sure Cassidy never gets booked. I said, no. Give him that full Hitman, all the cards on the deck type shit. I'm gonna make sure Cassidy never get booked again. That was us promoting. And it's fucked up that we're promoting and we put that together for you guys' entertainment, and they used it later on to drag them. But they dragged them with it after the Cassidy battle. And now we're leading into this Calico shit. So I'm developing a card with all these different facts. I don't just throw shit together. There's a lot of formula to this shit to be successful. So I start looking around the table. This is way before Daylight and King Los takes place or gets locked in. One of the people I start to turn towards is K-Shine, right? And I'm looking to do K-Shine versus Hollow the Don, a battle that happened, right, on URL. I'm looking to do K-Shine versus Hollow. So I reach out to K-Shine, doesn't text me back. I'm trying to move a little bit fast. And I tell Hollow, I say, yo, if you got K-Shine's number, hit him up. I don't know if he changed number, whatever. Hit him up, tell him to text me. K-Shine text me back. Yo, what's good? Blah, blah, blah. We start going back and forth, talking, what I'm saying. Fast forward, I got to a point where, we was building on a possible matchup, and I offered him a deposit, not a full bag, a deposit that was more than what Verb made to battle Murder Mook. I shit you not. I tell no lies on no man. So I was coming strong to the table for the co-main event that I was really, really locked in. I was like, if I announce K-Shine with Hollow the Don underneath Hitman versus Calico, we are sold. I don't care how much y'all playing around with Hitman. I know you're gonna buy him, and by the time I do this co-main event, we're done. Max Out 2 is done, and then I could fill in the rest of the card with just dope shit, right? So K-Shine was all the way on base. He had some other stuff going on too. He buying new cribs and everything, and he was just like, shit, like, let's go. I'm with it. He said, but give me a second. Let me make a phone call. Now, in my opinion, that phone call that was made is the true beginning, in my opinion, and I'll also say allegedly, it's the true beginning to all of the URL and K-Shine beef, in my opinion, and allegedly, because K-Shine and URL were good, on good business terms at this point. So K-Shine, he said, all right, give me a second, let me make a phone call. What K-Shine also said out of his own mouth in that live that he did where he's sitting in front of the brick wall, I think he got like the purple and the yellow hoodie on. He says it out of his own mouth. He's like, I didn't do what y'all asked me to do. I didn't battle on y'all ops. He says it out of his own mouth, and he keeps he alluded to it, and he said it also clearly. And so we was in court with you, so we downloaded all of these interviews and all these lives and all these videos, all the tweets, everything. And then I have my own personal conversations with Sean, right? So pretty much the perception of that call when he hangs up the phone with me that he makes is tapping in. A lot of battle rappers do that. I think a recent example of it was even when Swamp battled Verb. Okay, Swamp is being interviewed by Three Letter Man, and Three Letter Man asks him, are you okay with this battle? Because URL and Verb is into it. Are you okay with this battle? And are you allowed to battle? Are you cool? And what did Swamp say clearly on Three Letter Man? He said, no, I called, I made my phone calls, I tapped in, and they actually said, go kill him. Okay. There's a million of those examples, public, private. It could be Danny Myers. It could be Swamp. It could be it's a long list of people that know the way that URL operates, and even if they're not under a contract, what I'll just say allegedly, they will tap in to make sure that they're not ruffling any feathers. Nobody ever believes that Sue Surf was under an exclusive contract when he spoke to them about, hey, I just want to let y'all know what y'all got going on because ARP is on my line and he's offering me this big ass bag for Math Hoffa. And then he goes online, he says the things that he said about how his bookings happened after that, multi-battle deals. This is out of Sue Surf's mouth. Unless all these people are lying, right? Don't put it on me, put it on other people's actions. So the tap in with URL thing is very evident. It's a part of, we've seen it a million times. And I think that's what happened with K-Shine. I think he went and he tapped in. Just my opinion, allegedly. During the course of that tap in, I believe, in my opinion, allegedly, he was offered some money to chill out. Like, wait, I could understand. Think about it like this. And mind you, people, this is not considered blocking a battle. Okay? To me, my definition of a blocked battle is preventing something that I have the rights to do and I have contracted and already paid for. So, for example, Verb versus Iron Solomon, I take issue with. K-Shine versus Hollow the Don, I take no issue with because K-Shine never received a contract. He never signed no contract. He never took a deposit from me. Okay. That is just the nature of the industry. And you make your moves, you get in where you fit in behind the scenes. League owners are bidding and volleying and doing all this back and forth about getting what they want, and the cards land how they land. I take no issue with that. That's keeping it 1,000. But I believe on that phone call, aka tapping, I believe that if you got Kayshawn calling you code red, I want to let you know I want this check right now because I got my own shit going on. I just bought this new crib and all this. And I'm down for the battle, and it's a big card that they doing. I want this bag. So I'm talking to you. You're kind of like nudging a little bit, right? I'm not saying this is how the call went, right? But then you could have somebody on the league side that say, I'm not even putting together a card right now, but the money that you're about to miss, because this guy ARP has a deposit for you right now, a big deposit. Let me give it to you instead. And just take that and we'll figure it out. Right? That's allegedly what I believe happened and then started the very root and beginning of the Kayshawn and URL beef. That's what I believe. Allegedly. Because I'm on these going back and forth trying to book the man. Okay. Then it got to the point where it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna fall back and I'm gonna do something else. I know how ambitious Sean was when we were on the phone before he hung up with me and then made that other call, right? So for him to be that ambitious, that ready to go, the negotiations, the numbers, everything is good. The opponent, everything is good, right? As a matter of fact, I already had tapped in with Hollow. Hollow's with it too, right? So now for him to, Hollow's like, let me know. I'm ready. Let me know what Sean say. I kid you not, right? So for him to then come back after that, like, yo, I'm not going to do it. Something happened, and that's fine. He's an artist. He made a decision. I'm not sure. Let's say hypothetically I'm right about this course of events. And also I'm putting it with the things that Sean has already said publicly as well as privately to me. If I'm correct, I'm not sure how that money is, how legally binding it really is, because it possibly was just done in a spur of the moment. Like, wait, don't do that. Just stay with us. And I know you want that money right now, so let me give it to you instead. Right? I'm not sure. But when you get into the pattern of legally figuring it out, and that's why it was always weird to me, because I see bloggers report on saying things like, Sean had this type of deal that was extremely unique, and he was just getting paid like not an allowance, but like periodically, right? Maybe he was, but I don't think that initial thing that is tied to possible rolling money, or we'll figure it out, or just take this right now so that you don't have to do that over there, allegedly. I don't know how that legally binding that is. I'll say this. I'll say it so politically correct because it's my nigga too. I heard a rumor that also happened to Geechee before too. I heard rumors at one point of Geechee and Holla possibly about to battle before they battled on Power Moves, and Geechee was giving just money, just money that's just here, hold this and chill out. I got so many times I've heard this before allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how legally, but I don't know. It's a lot of gray area there. Now, said that story. Let me blend that into the last video that I'm going to play, and then I'm going to move that into the title. Okay? Stay with me.
This zip them up on this flyer lets me know in this event yourself and the power network then got the fuck on, man. So you should have made up with URL, because that ain't made your life a little bit of hell. You owe them a battle, you owe them money, they cease and desist, and now you're doing it on your own. Like, oh, the niggas can't cease and desist me. But yeah, they didn't cease and desist and got Power Moves out of here, bro. And good luck, bro. Good luck. And call Rap Grid. I don't know what the fuck Rap Grid got going on, putting a fucking fly with Hottie Horror. Like, what the hell is this? What is this?
I didn't speak to Chris. I could easily call him or text him right now. I promise you, I didn't speak to him about this video right here. But Chris has been saying it not from an opinion standpoint. He's been saying it from a tapped in standpoint. I don't know how true it is. I'll be fair. But Chris is saying adamantly that Power Moves received a cease and desist from URL, right? You also heard the words that he said, um, they're making your life a living hell, right? And Kayshawn allegedly would then be like, well, you can't cease and desist me. I'm going to keep going. Let's get into the title. Kayshawn returns, but is it time to call a lawyer? Let's say Chris is right. If URL allegedly was making somebody's life a living hell as far as them getting out there and trying to earn a living, I don't think that would be possible legally based on what we're seeing so far. There'd be a lot of devil in the detail, and I think a lot of attorneys out there would take issue with this from Sean's side. And here's some of the reasons why. The core of it is always liable. Like, you could try to say RBE did something by booking something, and then you're just going to have to prove it. Or I can say URL did something by booking something, and I'll just have to prove it, right? But the person in the middle is always has a lot of liability, especially based on what the companies that are putting in claims decide to do. Now, when you don't take aim at the liable person that allegedly is playing two sides, or allegedly is taking deposits that they shouldn't take, or allegedly breaking their own contract, right? If you don't never take issue with them, that within itself has always been weird to me. Always. Let's say allegedly ARP books Daylight versus King Los because Daylight, like, let's say allegedly RBE has even text messages of Daylight hitting ARP up and saying, yo, I'm hearing that you're putting together Max Out too. Why don't you put me and King Los on there? That would then be Daylight soliciting RBE to be booked. And there's nothing wrong with that. Me and Daylight have that type of business relationship. And then if we proceed, we proceed. That's very, very different than, like, let's say hypothetically, if Daylight is under some exclusive contract, allegedly, and then I say, I know you're under contract, Daylight, and I want you to say, fuck that contract and work with me so that I can hurt those people, right? That's very different. It's very different. The first one would make Daylight liable. The second one would probably make me just as liable. It would be like both of us conspiring. But the first one, where you're just getting hit up, so at that point, I could even be getting set up then, right? Somebody that has a contract hits me up, says, I don't have no contract. I book them, and then here comes another company to sue me. I could even get set up then, right? So in the first scenario, it makes me ask the question, Chris. If you would cease and desist a company, why wouldn't you cease and desist the artist if they went and did it on their own? Because if it's about you getting the money that the artist owes you, right? I would cease and desist Sean if I'm the company, and I would say, I don't want you to do that because I want your next battle to be on with me because I have this alleged business deal with you and exclusive rights to your next performance. Or that cease and desist would be saying, I'm going to allow you to continue to do that, but we're going to put an agreement in place that I'm taking some of the proceeds. That would be what legally I'd be going after. I wouldn't allow, if I have an issue with another league doing it, I would have an issue with you doing it on your own too. If it's supposed to be about you owing me money. But if it's about anything else other than you owing me money, that would just be then more at a different level, like a league level. Then you're taking issue then with Power Network. That's where I would say that cease and desist, which is not a legal process. Well, it's not a court process. A cease and desist is just a lawyer reaching out and saying, my client takes issue, and this is like a warning, or I want to let you know we might have a problem, or whatever, right? If that's true, that you don't take issue with the artist doing it on their own, then possibly, in my opinion, I would say that the cease and desist to Power Network then would be a fear tactic. You're trying to scare them off the base. If Chris is putting out accurate news, if Chris is tapped in and somebody told him or showed him, or he's right, that there was actually a cease and desist to Power Network and Power Network halted the brakes, okay. They could either choose to grab their lawyer, they could choose to proceed, they can choose to let somebody review the situation, and then they make a decision, right? Unfortunately, there's only one battle rapper that I know of in this entire culture after all these years that has done that. And it's easy to block, Captain. It's easy to block, Captain. Where did Easy to Block Captain's cease and desist go? It went into oblivion. Why did he not get? Why did nothing happen after he got cease and desist? Because he called a fucking lawyer. He called a lawyer. He had the whole process investigated, looked at, contracts read. His lawyer took a lot of issues. His lawyer responded on his behalf, right? And then everything stopped there. It don't make any sense to cease and desist Power Network and not cease and desist K-Shine when he does it on his own, or cease and desist zip him up, right? Chris, ask that question. Let's uncover that odd process, right? That doesn't make sense to me if it's about you owe me money. Okay? So I say that to say, if Sean is better off partnering with people, whether it's from a financial standpoint, from a event coordination standpoint, running a league owner, and also trying to battle on a card at the same time, it's not easy. All these different intangibles that he now has to sit at the front of, which has, I'm bleeding this all into the early part of the stream, y'all, where you got even your flyer coming out with main event typos and all this type of stuff, and the date is right around the corner, and you got to start promoting, get everybody outside. You got to get way past a flyer, right? If that is not easy to do during your first rodeo, right? And you're in a better situation when you partner with somebody, i.e. a power network, i.e. another league, i.e. another sponsor, whatever, or event coordinator. And if you could never do that because you feel that somebody, as per like, let's say a Chris reporting, might get a cease and desist, then you might be trapped. And then you got to read the title. K-Shine returns, but is it time to call a lawyer? Because the rollout with an experienced sponsor or platform or collaborator, what if it's MTV? What if MTV comes around? Maybe they don't get cease and desist because nobody want to play with MTV. But I'm just saying, what if BT or somebody comes around and say, like, at what point, Sean, you can't leave it on the bottom ground and be like, yo, we just street niggas, and I bet you niggas don't play with me though, or you ain't gonna stop me from doing it, right? That's like ground level business. If we're gonna be doing contracts, and if there are cease and desist moving around, and if there is business that's getting disrupted, rightfully or wrongfully, it's time to take the business up to another level and call a lawyer. Calling a lawyer is not ratting. It's not snitching. We are in the space of business and contracts and money exchanges and disagreements over process and agreements and matches and money and shit like that. This is business. A lawyer needs to review this for Sean, for the past, for the current, and for the future. I just feel like Sean is such a street nigga. Like, he's just not gonna take that type of advice. Like the way Easy did, he's just not gonna take that type of advice. I think Sean is more of a standoffish type of person. Like, I just want to see somebody fuck with me, and that's cool. I'm pretty sure August 3rd or 2nd, he'll be in there. He'll get his event off. But are you having any issues that's stunting you, right? I'm just saying, Chris isn't the only person that's talking about the cease and desist, by the way. So there's a possible problem there that needs to be rectified one way or another. All right, chat. Hope I delivered the title for you right there. Shout out to Team Zero Gaming. Appreciate the super says K-Shine is my favorite rapper ever, but I don't understand why he won't just allow other leagues to help him. He said, Remy, Chilla, even you reached out. I've reached out to Sean even before Max Out. We was talking about him versus Big K. We had some conversation around that. That was a phone call where I asked him about Daylight, because him and Daylight was online trolling each other and tweeting each other and stuff like that. I was just like, I seen that as a league owner. You know, I see the promotion that they're doing out there. And I asked him about that battle. I'm just like, Yeah, I see you and Daylight going back and forth a lot. What's that about? Daylight's trolling you. You're applying like, and he broke that situation down to me. He's like, man, I feel like Daylight's playing and this and that ain't nothing right now. But anyway, what you got going on? What we talking about? And I was just like, well, I'm interested in Big K, and we had the conversation. After that, fast forward, max out to the story that I just told y'all. I called him for hollow. You know, I always ask those questions. What's going on with you? What you got going on? Where you at with things? Boom, boom. Everything straight? Yeah, everything good. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's talk opponent. Let's talk what I got going on. Let's talk money. You fuck with all of that? What's up? What we doing? He says, yeah, I'm with everything. All right, but hold on. Let me make a quick phone call. And then everything goes crazy ever since then. You know? I ain't gonna speak for Remy and I ain't gonna speak for Chilla. I just think that league owners are interested in working with K-Shine. He's a legend, you know? And if leagues at times feel like I don't understand your situation to know, here's a big thing. Watch this. Here's a big difference between like allegedly, like let's say a Daylight and a King Los legal situation versus like a K-Shine battling anybody situation. URL could always take the position with K-Shine legally that any league owner or business person that would approach K-Shine is aware of this narrative or these problems. And then URL would have a solid position to say, you still know, the public knows that we are saying allegedly that we're owed something and you still booked him, right? Like you can't take that position with Daylight and King Los. You know, there's too much that you reveal that in discovery, allegedly. You know, you can't take that position. This is ARP and Daylight doing what we've been doing since 2014, literally. You know, but there's been so much public discussion about K-Shine and URL that it will put a Chilla or Remy or somebody else in a position where they would have to be on some Remy shit, like I do what I want. Because no, I think there's a lot of gray area for people. You know, they just don't know. Like if you get on the phone with URL is probably going to tell you an angle of their position with Shine. If you get on the phone with Shine, I promise you, Shine is going to break down a million reasons to why I don't owe them anything. This is bullshit. This is, you know what I'm saying? And he said a lot of this publicly too, right? So the league is left in the middle. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Sometimes people say it's worth the headache. Some people say maybe it's not. And that's one of those additional reasons why Shine needs to call a lawyer. Even if Shine could let the public know that he's spoken to a lawyer, that changes league owners and other business people's perception. Even if he could just publicly show or let people know, I'm in touch with a lawyer. The lawyer is saying this, and if anybody else plays with me, any company, I'm ready to go to war about it. I got this lawyer that's ready to go, and he reviewed all of this shit, right? That changes things. That's what Easy did. That's what Easy did, you know? And once again, Easy then goes on to have a million fucking battles after that. Was there any cease and desist after that, though? I didn't hear those rumors. I feel like Easy stopped all that shit when he called a lawyer. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not reading things the right way. Maybe I'm missing something. Shout out to Maurice Anthony, one of our newest members. Salute to you, homie. Appreciate you. We got Lux the Goat in the building. He says, I'm glad Jims is back. He served his penance. I enjoy his unique perspectives. Welcome back, 100. I had a clip of Jims playing earlier as I was pulling up everybody. So I believe this is when you put this super. Shout out to Lux the Goat. I appreciate you, G. Lux the Goat also says, at the end of the day, Shine approved that flyer like Tay-Rock approved his misspelled chain. Oh. I mean, but it still happens, man. There's people walking around with misspelled tattoos right now. And that went through two people. That went through the person that's getting ink, the artist that put the stencil on, everything. Mistakes happen. I know some of these mistakes shouldn't happen, but they happen. And in battle rap, we have an infinite range of you can fix it. And that goes for every scenario, every situation. Bad business, block battles, stolen deposits, bad performances, choking all the time, no showing battles, leagues doing bad business, leagues plotting and scheming or whatever. You have infinite forgiveness in battle rap. You have a battle rapper that gets to a point where bloggers will report on his upcoming battle, which is a form of support and promotion, whether they admit it or not, and say, well, if he shows up, like what? How do we allow that person get to the point where he can be promoted by us saying if he shows up? Infinite forgiveness in battle rap. So this is a smaller one though. It's like you can definitely turn a lot of this promo and controversy into a positive. Sean just gotta get on these front lines and boom and go. Trailers, interviews, explanations, transparency, use some of the controversy, address shit, new flyer, call avocado, everything. Everything. Like shout out to K-Shine. K-Shine did a dope trailer for me when he battled Jay Mills. He was walking around his hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that. That trailer was sick. He's got to do shit like that for his own shit now. I'm keeping 1,000. You know, you gotta hit the pavement. He could spin a lot of this. It's just gotta work. Gotta work. Melly, what's good, girl? I know maybe it's because you're not up at 6 a.m. Is that what's going on? I don't get a chance to see you too often. But it's always good to see you, Melly. What's up, love? All right. All right. Before I go to a verb, let me jump over to Jay-Z and Nas real quick. All right. The infinite Jay-Z and Nas topic. And I'm not here to go too crazy on it because it's never ending and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be infinite, damn near, right? But this topic came up for me. If you see my Instagram, I just posted some pictures and video. I went to the Nas concert last night. Nas did an outdoor orchestra live band style concert, and it was incredible. They was going off the live orchestra. They was changing beats. The drummer at times was like he was on his Questlove type time. It was just epic. He went through a lot of Illmatic. He went through a lot of his hits. No features, no nothing, no crazy super jumping through hoops or nothing. Him up there dropping his classics with a live band behind him, and at times giving little intermissions, talking between songs to the crowd. It was just dope. So it made me think, because one of my boys that I was with, my man Just, he said, at this point in my life and at this age, Nas has evolved for my ears more than Jay-Z. And I said, what do you mean by that? He was just like, from like a maturity standpoint and what he raps about and what he talks about. And I contested him. I was just like, you didn't hear 444? That's the maturity evolution of Jay-Z. All right. And then we had a little quick debate. You know what I'm saying? But it made me think, going back to this, and even from an album standpoint, y'all know Jay-Z is my goal, right? When you encompass everything that he does, but when you talk about, if you could remove everything off the table that Jay-Z has accomplished and remove the numbers and all that type of, and the numbers will always be a part of all debates. They're supposed to be, right? Albums, sale, everything. But if you just say rapper, and even if you try to go album for album, and I think they don't have the same amount of albums, so that's not even easy to do either. But how balanced is it is the question. If you just talk about the songs that you guys have created over your career and your talent ability, how balanced is it? We just did the Complex top 50 New York rappers a couple days ago, right? They had Jay-Z number one. A lot of people put Jay-Z ahead of Nas. You got a lot of purists that still stick up for Nas. It goes both, but is it one of the things that pure hip hop heads, such as many of us here on this channel, are supposed to say, there's no winner? Are we supposed to do that? Like LeBron and Jordan can't do that because of the ring thing and the amount of losses. I mean, LeBron has his side, Jordan has his side. I don't want to get into that debate. I just feel like I have less reason to debate Jordan and LeBron, but Nas and Jay, I'm moving more and more to the point where I'm able to say Jay-Z is my personal GOAT. But if you just ask me, generally from a hip hop standpoint, who is better, Jay-Z or Nas? I think that there's not supposed to be an answer. I think it's supposed to be equal. I don't know. All right. I pulled up a little quick thread on Rap Genius, Jay-Z versus Nas. I'll read some of these real quick. and then we're gonna do a couple albums, and then we're gonna move on. Ether, Illmatic, and Stillmatic. To be honest, I think even if it was RD, TBP, or Illmatic and Nostradamus, Nas would still win. Nas. Takeover, Illmatic, RD. So when we see RD, that's Reasonable Doubt. When we see BP, that's Blueprint, and that's Stillmatic. So is Illmatic better than Reasonable Doubt? For me, no. Oh, fuck. See, it just happened to me. So Nas was a little bit more ahead of his time, it felt like, with his first album. Jay-Z didn't. So Kool Moe Dee did that once upon a time. When Kool Moe Dee started rapping, and especially battling, we was like, this is different. And then Rakim came, and we was like, all the syllables and patterns of his rapping, this is different, right? And that's what Illmatic did to me more than Reasonable Doubt did. I felt like Reasonable Doubt is a classic, timeless, goated album, but it didn't feel like, oh, something in hip hop just changed as far as rap style and being ahead of your time. Illmatic did that more than RD. But I think that Blueprint overall as a piece of art is in front of Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt. And I'll tell you why. I've always been a guy that felt people put Illmatic in a lot of front of these lists, as they should. But I always felt that It Was Written is better than Illmatic, because that is Nas also evolving into one of his strongest lanes, like his storytelling, like Shootouts and I Gave You Power, his songwriting ability, the choruses, the bridges. He brought everything that an overall artist needs to bring to the table that he had in Illmatic, which was this pure lyrical trend-setting ability. He brought that with all the song ability, and he merged it. And I thought that It Was Written is his best overall piece of work, right? I rather would see Blueprint and It Was Written go up against each other. That's just me. All right. And this person here says Stillmatic is 100% not Nas' second best album. Of course it's not. Definitely not. I mean, Stillmatic don't touch Illmatic or It Was Written. It Was Written is arguably a top 5 hip hop album of all time. Anyway, Jay, even though this thread has been done to death. Yeah. All right, so look at this one. Nas is one of the best rappers ever. Jay-Z is also one of the best rappers ever. Jay-Z has more good albums than Nas. Nas's Ether is better than Takeover. Just more of a direct fuck you. Illmatic is an eternal classic. Jay-Z stayed relevant and made good music for much longer. I'm not seeing any lies yet. In my opinion, Nas is the best at a total fire classic rap song where there is one hook chanted throughout and 3 verses all straight fire. No features, no beat switch ups. Example, Nas is like Hate Me Now, Street Dreams, Represent, etc. Jay-Z has lots of these too, but I prefer Nas rap classics slightly more. Overall, Jay-Z edges this out, but I think I like my Nas more. I can't pick. That's where it ends up, man. Like, I'm gonna grab some of these joints. Don't drop it. Okay. All right, that's Jay. Hold on. Let me grab Nas. Let me take this down. Grab Nas. Oh. Now, if I tried to put all this shit in order, we'd be here for 5 hours, and the debate would be endless, right? And Pete, my 444, I didn't even open it. I'll never open it. I'm just gonna leave it just like this. My 444, right? But we forget, man. I'm just gonna flash real quick, just a reminder of how much they have in their library. And then this isn't everything. They still got group albums like Rock La Familia shit, and then you got on Nas' side like Firm albums, and they just got so much stuff even outside of their general albums. It's too much. But when you flash it, it's like a memory. Like, oh shit, damn. Like, oh wait. Oh wait. Come on, man. Don't ask me why he's my GOAT. Don't ask me why. Who did this? We're still going. Stop. Slow down. Slow down. We're still going. We're still going. You gonna stop anytime soon? That was an underground one. You gonna stop anytime soon? No, you still going? You still got more? You still got more? Very hard to argue. Very hard to argue. But if we do our quick, ironically, memory lane for Nas, memory lane. He's got a lot going on. I ain't really care for this. I'll be honest. He's got a lot going on. It's all right. He's got some subpar albums. I ain't gonna lie. He's got some ones that was just like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Oh, he got a double for you, right? You can't be in the bracket with Nas, Jay-Z, and Big if you don't have a double album, right? And Pop. I feel like some people just want to have a double album just to be in that bracket. Ooh, he's the one that taught me there's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. He's the one that taught me that. He's the one that taught me that. Ooh. I like how he kept like those first 5 albums like that, like similar covers, but just evolving. This is the one. That's the best. That's the best Nas album right there. I don't know how you do it. That's where I'm at, people. Yeah, I didn't leave the Nas concert last night and walk out of there and say, you know what? This is that newness, recency bias. Yeah, maybe it made me realize, for me personally, there's no debate between the two. I'm cool on it from now going forward. Do I have a personal preference? Overall legacy and overall career-wise, yeah. But just a hip-hop question, Jay-Z or Nas, ARP, which direction you're going? It's not supposed to be an argument for me. Just leave it. Just leave it, dog. It's Jay-Z and Nas, man. 1 and 2, 2 and 1. It is what it is. All right. If you don't have any magic or King's disease, you wild on ARP. What? What y'all want to chat? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything crazy. Tim Mack says, J my GOAT, but overall, Nas is the better rapper. This is the type of stuff you're gonna hear for miles and miles. I'm not mad at nobody no more. It's just I'm just leaving it, both of them. All right, Verb. This will be the shortest topic of the day. Absolutely, it's not. We're getting out of here in 10 minutes. I promise. I posted this on my Twitter right before we went live. You see the caption of my tweet says, "Last day for now. Last day that I'm putting a verb in my thumbnail. Why, ARP? I hate bullies. I really, really despise bullies. I'm not trolling. Let me take. Hold on. I'm not trolling. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm not like spinning some like little shot at Verb. I really, really, really despise bullies. I have my whole life. I just got this thing mentally about them. I think it's such a suck and a coward way to behave and carry yourself. Hate bullies. This is not a shot. I'm not joking. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not trolling. I'm now exhibiting bully-like ways. Right. And I would despise myself if I had to look in the mirror and ever see somebody like that. Verb could do his little quiet thing or whatever. He should pop up. He should pop out of nowhere with his lawyer, right? If he really feels a way. I think that's impossible considering all the stuff that we put up for like the last, 16, 17, 18 days straight of him being in the thumbnail. It's impossible to stand on anything with sturdy legs, sturdy foundation from any of his bullshit, right? I put this tweet up. It's if you want to take it as a threat, fuck it, take it as a threat. Right. And I showed this the other day. You see the different folders, even timestamped differently. You know, I just started pulling things off my drive, preparing for edits. And some of these videos would combine together. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I don't know if these will all be separate videos. You see A Ward here. There's some stuff going on there that you guys don't know about, or pull up all his contracts. Some of the Bonnie stuff was in his battle with her, but some of that also bleeds into the woman topic. It's caffeine stuff that's unreleased in here. Calls that's of course unreleased. I know you guys want can't pay holla and can't pay holla more. That was going to be a deeper topic after I put up the evidence of that. It's a lot of Gerald stuff that I pulled up and started collecting. The Iron story, the whole Iron battle, along with the audio. Live for Soul 3. I believe that's the is that the Jim's battle? Max Out 3. This was going to be included in the finale. Max Out 3. You got the Mook battle leading in. A lot of receipts, a lot of transactions, a lot of interviews that I've collected about my interactions with Surf. And I pulled up and I collected Verb shit when he would say things like, "Oh, to tell the truth, this he spins when he has a fallout, right? Tell the truth, they was trying to set me up the whole time. It's just New York is trying to set me up. I wasn't supposed to have Mook. I was supposed, and I was gonna make him look so disgusting in this particular video, like, and show how much of a favor I did for him by giving him Mook, and show how much he was a liar when he tries to spin with that bullshit." Right. I was going to show receipts with Surf. I was going to show dates. I was going to show contracts. It's a lot in this Mook one. Old boy shall remain nameless. Don't threaten me with anybody. I don't take threats lightly. I move accordingly. Sometimes if I move quiet, I'm even more dangerous. Right. But this old boy one is for anybody, him, you, whoever. Like, I don't deal with threats. And then on top of that, you got some lies that I was gonna kill. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna stay right there. PayPal's and wires, showing that he actually did get pay-per-view money. He said he never got $1 from pay-per-view. I was going to show him receiving that October check, the one that he tweeted about. I was going to show the actual transactions, the wire. The other battles like PayPal's, but Max Out 3, he needed to use bank wires. Pedal stuff, I'm not gonna say nothing personal. I ain't gonna say nothing, but there's a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna give no hints on it. There's a lot of stuff on you personally, Verb, that if you ever play with me at a certain level, you're gonna want to delete all your social media of some of the stuff that I have in this personal folder. You're gonna want to delete your social media, right? Or you're gonna want to pick up a gun or call your lawyer. Like I told you early on when this started. Solicitation, like I brought up all those receipts and I put this one on my Twitter to keep reminding the Verbs of the world, I'm not your bluff artist. That's you. Okay. So this one goes all the way back to, I don't even remember. I don't even got this phone anymore with this background. I blurted out his number, trying to be respectful, trying to show some class. But this was him, just a random one, hit me. I'm gotta get back on stage, man. Lock it in before I get on this plane. And I'm gonna do the dope fiend price for you. And hold the date when you're ready. I gotta get back on the stage now. So he's always does a solicit. That's one of his favorite words. Solicitation. I have a whole file of his text messages begging me for bookings. A whole folder full of it. And I hit him back. I'm gonna come at you for a winner take all for Mr. Mills, right? I know you said no more of those, but I'm trying to let the dust settle so you hopefully fuck with it again. LOL. Remember, I showed the interview of him saying, sitting next to Jim's after he lost his back end to Jim's, I won't do these again. And he was pressing me the night of for Mr. Mills deposit because he had no money on him, right? And when he hits me up again, begging or soliciting, I should say, I put Mr. Mills there and I say, I want to get Mr. Mills a look, and I know you don't want to do judge battles coming off of that gym shit, but if you're going to be pressing me for bookings, I'm going to press you for what I want, right? You got to take the good with the bad, buddy, because I'm not calling you right now, but that's what Verb will do. He'll wake up, yo, I need the book right now. I'm about to get on this plane. Blah, 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 blah. Like, what's up, man? My car battery, I pulled up so many of his text messages, right? So that video it makes you look horrible. Sus behavior, I'll keep it real. We pretty much did it already. Verb and URL, I ain't even gonna say nothing. Verb releases P audio. That one, I was mounting up folders and stuff about how he's treated people, because if I got to the point of releasing other pieces of his audio. I did put one clip up to show, once again, I'm not your bluff artist, right? Of him telling me they're trying to buy the Iron Battle from me. I put up that audio clip, right? But I had a whole folder developing, waiting for people to say, you're doing too much to this guy, ARP. And this folder was going to also show a lot of what Verb does to people. So now it's his turn. Okay. And then all the Verb suing stuff. Like we did some of that one too. Like the 6 people over like the last 6 or 7 people over like the last 12 months and all type of shit. So I put this up. Take it as a threat if you want. Take it as a bluff if you want. I don't give a fuck how you take it, to be honest. But y'all ain't getting no more Verb thumbnails. If I decide to talk about, I say his name whatever the fuck I want. But y'all ain't getting no more Verb thumbnails or titles until further notice. Chat, battle rap, bloggers, people. If he has anything to say about me that's sideways, please let me know. And I'll go check it out for myself. I'll look at it, or I'll listen to it, I'll download it, I'll see what's going on. And if I feel like opening the bag back up, I will. So keep an eye on his stupid ass for me. Right. And I jump over and rattle his cage every once in a while too and see what he's got going on. But at the end of the day, I'm nobody's bully. Okay? I'm nobody's bully. So I'll leave it there. All right. Let me see if I missed any supers right quick again. Make sure I'm up to speed. Shout out to Craig. One of our members says, what's good, ARP and the RBE fam? Nas is not afraid of being creative when it comes to hip hop. He is like an artist willing to try new things. I believe that. He showed range over his career. I think Jay showed more range. But then some people would argue, he just stays more in that purist pocket and he dominates in it. So you could look at that debate from either. It's not an easy debate, man. I've consumed too much of their careers and music over the year. This is the type of arguments I was having 20 years ago in the barbershops and shit when I still had hair. Like, I'm over it now. I'm still watching these guys be great. I just came from Nas's concert last night. I'm done. It's both of them, B. I'm cool. Jay said, let's be real. 444 was Jay's version of Nas's Life is Good. My first time seeing somebody say that, but it's logical. I don't know. They say steel sharpens steel. You see people compete. You see people try to outdo each other. Not new under the sun. You factor that in, and then you end up with people like Kanye going on the record doing interviews saying, I did 808 and Heartbreaks because I knew Wayne was about to do an auto-tune album. I just wanted to do it before him. Right? There's a lot of angles to some of this stuff. As long as I get good product. Jay says, say the word. I appreciate you, love. All right. Hour and 20 today. Even longer than I thought we would be here, to be honest. But let's say ARP up to 40 on Verb, bitch ass. LOL. Hey, he loves talking like that. In the car, up to 40, up to this, up to that, blah, blah, blah. That's his thing. He's never shot at anybody. I could see that in him. I could hear that in the way he talks. He probably has held guns, shot guns before. I don't think Verb has ever shot at somebody. Ever. And that's a good thing for him. Okay, it's not cool that to feel like you have to shoot at somebody. All right, let me end it like that. Let me stay me. I'm just saying the way he talks is funny as shit. Once you see through him, it's funny as shit. Anyway, all right, happy Sunday, people. It's almost 1 o'clock. We finna get up out of here, and I'll see y'all bright and early. It's tomorrow's Monday, so we'll be back at 6 a.m. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.